In the architecture of human relationships, distance is often misunderstood as a void or a lack of care. However, in social psychology, distance is one of the most powerful tools for establishing value and reclaiming personal sovereignty. Most people operate on a principle of constant accessibility. They believe that to be liked, they must be available, and to be loved, they must be ever present. But when you are always there, when you respond to every text instantly, agree to every request, and fill every silence, you inadvertently signal that your time and energy have no cost. Social psychology reveals that human beings are hardwired to undervalue what is abundant and to venerate what is rare. When you intentionally create distance, you aren't just stepping away. You are recalibrating the perceived worth of your presence. You are moving from being a commodity to being a sanctuary. And for those used to taking you for granted, this shift is deeply unsettling. Think about the dynamics of your past interactions. Perhaps there was a time when you were the reliable one, the person who was always a phone call away, always ready to listen to someone else's crisis, always willing to compromise your own peace for their comfort. You thought this would earn you respect. Instead, it earned you a place in their life as a background utility. You became like the air they breathe, essential but invisible until it's gone. But imagine the moment you stepped back. You didn't do it out of anger or as a calculated move to hurt them. You simply became unavailable. You stopped being the emergency contact for people who only remembered you in an emergency. In that distance, a psychological phenomenon occurred. The people who once ignored your presence suddenly became obsessed with your absence. They didn't miss you. They missed the access to the emotional resources you provided for free. In human behavior psychology, this is explained through the Scarcity Principle and the concept of loss aversion. We are biologically programmed to fear the loss of access to a resource more than we value the gain of a new one. When you are always available, you are a stable resource. The moment you create distance, you trigger a status threat in the other person. They realize that they no longer have a monopoly on your attention. To a manipulative or insecure mind, this distance feels like an act of aggression because it forces them to earn what they previously stole. Social psychology explains that respect is rarely granted to those who are easily accessible. It is commanded by those who demonstrate that their presence is a choice, not a default setting. Your distance acts as a filter, separating those who value your soul from those who only valued your utility. The deeper dynamic at play is the protection of the internal kingdom. Every time you overextend yourself to remain available, you are essentially leaving the gates of your mind wide open for anyone to wander in and leave their trash. Distance is the act of closing those gates. It is not an act of coldness, it is an act of high-level boundary psychology. When you are out of reach, you are giving yourself the space to hear your own thoughts without the interference of other people's projections. You are realizing that your attention capital is a non-renewable resource. In the realm of manipulation psychology, we know that a manipulator's power relies on their ability to occupy your mental space. By creating distance, you are essentially evicting them. You are reclaiming the territory of your own life. This is why your distance panics them. They no longer have a seat at the table of your mind, and without that seat, they have no leverage. This shift provides a level of clarity that is often life-altering. In the space you create between yourself and the world, you begin to see the true nature of your social circle. You notice who reaches out with genuine care and who only reaches out when they need a favor. You notice who respects your no and who tries to guilt-trip you back into yes. This is the hallmark of a maverick mind, the realization that your solitude is more valuable than a connection that requires you to abandon yourself. Distance allows you to observe the patterns of human behavior from a position of safety. You are no longer a player on the field, exhausted by the game. You are the observer in the stands, seeing the moves before they are even made. Respect psychology teaches us that people do not respect those who have no lives of their own. They respect those who have a world so rich and meaningful that they don't need to be constantly validated by others. When you are unavailable, it signals that you are busy building that world. It suggests that you have priorities that are more important than the temporary whims of the crowd. This creates a natural gravity. People are drawn to those who are self-contained because they represent a stability that most people lack. Your distance isn't a wall, it's a pedestal. It elevates you above the noise and the petty dramas of the everyday. Understand that their attempt to label your distance as arrogance or abandonment is simply a desperate attempt to pull you back into the orbit of their control. They need to believe you are the villain so they don't have to face the fact that they were the ones who pushed you away with their lack of appreciation. Let them keep their labels. You keep your peace. You do not owe anyone an explanation for why you are prioritizing your own emotional health. Your life is not a public utility, and you are not obligated to be on call for the world. Stay in your distance. Let the silence do the work that words never could. When you stop being the one who always reaches out, you finally get to see who reaches back. Your non-availability is the ultimate test of character for those around you. It reveals the entitled, it exposes the manipulative, and it honors the genuine. Your distance is your dignity. It is the boundary that ensures your energy remains your own. In the world of social psychology, the most powerful position you can take is the one where you are no longer reachable by those who do not respect your worth. Be the mountain, vast, beautiful, and completely out of reach for those who only want to climb you for the view. Stay maverick, stay distant, stay powerful.